Welcome back to another episode, everybody. My name's Emery Wolf. Joining me is
Nick Lamb.
And we are just two camera guys, a show where we're going to talk about all things camera. That was fun. Hey, we are back in
fancy intro.
Yeah. Weird,
I liked it.
I do. So like with work, I guess a bit of background here. We are having our conference. It's online in the next few weeks. This is a great way. I love doing this because this is like practice for me for the conference and real-time stuff, dealing with everything as we are actually doing it. I just removed that video. I probably should have kept it for like an outro.
So bring it back.
See, and this is why I do this stuff, so I can actually practice this in real time, screw it up, and it maybe matters a little less here.
Yeah.
Today's episode, Nick, we have a flurry of things to talk about. There's just like no random order. These are all emails you probably should have read from me that you probably didn't.
I probably read some of them.
Some
of them will catch my eye.
Yeah, some of them are like completely new. They'll be like, you're just going to be like, oh yeah.
Are you going to try to trick me? Tell me whether it's new or not and have me try to pretend like I've read it?
No, I think like I said, a lot of this is going to be sprung onto you. I think what for me, it's going to be fun just to see like, what you can riff on, what you can actually talk about, which I don't think any of these things are going to be a problem for you. So
you can always riff on it if I can't.
Yeah. My first question for you, Nick. This one is really putting you on the spot.
Yeah.
And me, I guess. So our show is just two camera guys. Are we frauds?
Why?
Well, are we really camera guys?
Well, I used to be.
Like both of us aren't like, we're not working on movies daily.
No.
We had I want to call him Dylan. That's not his name. Who was on with us 2 weeks ago?
2 weeks ago. Oh, Dustin.
Who like actually works in it. We've talked to guys like Mitch who made that movie. Not that Mitch is necessarily the camera guy, but he's working in the field, and we are not. And we're not like in TV either. So are we frauds?
Well, no, because I still make advertising and corporate videos for a living and supplement that with the live production, although I don't operate a camera very often for those events. But I don't think it's a fraud because I do operate a camera for all the corporate stuff.
Yeah. So here's another like point in case. We have Mike who joined us on the Pats crew this year. Is Mike a camera guy?
Oof. That's a good question. I'm going to say yes, Mike is. The reason why Mike is a camera guy, because he does have a side hustle of shooting a little, not necessarily corporate style events, but, smaller kind of advertising videos and stuff like that. Which he does operate camera for those and then transfers it over to live hockey.
If all he did was just the hockey games, would he be a camera guy or no?
I would say not yet.
Oh, because I'm trying to like define that line, I guess.
Yeah. So I think it's it's not a certain amount of hours, but there's a certain amount of knowledge. Okay, so let me back this up. I'm going to give you a compliment. What makes you a good camera guy for live events is not your knowledge of cameras. It's not that you know f-stop, shutter angle, exposure, all of that stuff. It's a weird one for live events. Would you agree or disagree?
I would not say that I'm good, but I would agree with that. I think what makes, for lack of a better term, me a better camera guy at live events is preparation and understanding what the event is, what's going to happen when.
what's going to happen? So it's a combination of that, and so the base for a camera person for I'm going to go focus on live events for this, and then I think we should transfer over to corporate stuff, and I'd even like to go to movies, because movies has a completely different skill set from live events, in my opinion. So live events, your preparation, yes, there's a certain amount of hand-eye coordination that it takes. Like you do have to be able to make your body kind of do what you want it to do to follow, and it's the hand-eye coordination of following. Just kind of like throwing a ball or making a basket. But the other one that you do really good, it goes along with preparation, but it's just thinking ahead. Like, what are they going to need next? What's coming up next? It's always thinking about that next shot without compromising your existing shot.
Yeah. When I used to work by myself doing wedding videos, and that at the start of all of the actual real shooting and making money, getting paid doing it, prep was like the big thing. I did not shoot a wedding, and I flat out told people, I will not shoot your wedding if you do not meet with me.
Yeah.
And all it was to get all the notes of what was going to happen when it was going to happen, so that when I got to, and I would show up to the rehearsals as well. So that was the first time I'd get into the venue, and I could be like, oh, camera, what needs to be here? Camera needs to be here. This is what I'll do during this time. Perfect.
You know what? That was my favorite part when I was a camera assistant. When I was seconding, I would make my first assistant go over every single possible configuration with me, so that I knew exactly which piece to hand them when. So I'd make them go over, okay, let's convert to handheld. And they'd kind of groan at me like, oh, I know what handheld is. But I did it for my own sake, so that I knew exactly what to pass them when we went to handheld. Okay, now we're going on the dolly. What are we going to need for here? We're going to sticks. What are we going to need? Every single configuration I would want to go through. Okay, now we're going to go on a crane. What do we need when we go to the crane? And then actually build it so that we would know the pieces to pass and what to do.
Yeah. So second question, follow up to it. Do you ever feel like a fraud?
Oh yeah, all the time. Less so with camera stuff. I don't feel as much like a fraud with that. I do feel like a fraud as a director a lot of the time.
Okay.
Because I still feel like being a technician was always my strongest, because of all of that, because I like the prep. I like being able to just execute the camera movements. So yeah, I don't know. As a director, fraud for sure.
Okay. So a bit of a story, and these are the times that I feel like a fraud. So I'm shooting a video for work. And two, let me like put some perspective on this. Every day, it's not like I'm shooting stuff, and that's where like that start of that, the fraud comes in, or the idea, or what's the complex called, like when you feel like a fraud all the time.
It's not the inferiority complex, but it's the
like where you're a poser, you're faking it to make it.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anyways,
I think it's just the fraud complex. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, it's got a name. So I'm using
imposter syndrome.
That's it. So that's the first like step of it. Then I get out onto thing. When we bought these DJI Mic 2s to use out there, and I get out on there. I've got a manual with me, which is embarrassing enough.
Yep. That's not. It doesn't inspire confidence.
No, it doesn't.
You're
and then
get up the manual.
I plug everything in, and audio's coming through. It's loud. It's distorted. I can't figure out what I did wrong. Any guesses as to what I did wrong?
Not having read the manual ahead of time.
Partially right. What I did was I took the headphone jack output and plugged that into the camera.
Ooh.
Which screwed up everything, right? And I couldn't figure it out. And then I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'm recording. Hopefully these things are recording as secondary audio. They were not.
No.
Again, had I operated these things more, I would be used to the functionality of them. Didn't get the secondary audio, figured it out halfway through, flipped it around, and recorded. It was fine after that. I'll get by. Like, I'll make do with what I got. It's fine. It doesn't have to be perfect. But yeah, like, that's one of those things, like, man, can I even call myself a camera guy when I don't even know how to fix this simple, basic problem? In my defense, DJI, they colored the headphone thing red, and the other one is just black, like the actual output one. And my eyes go to that red and I plug it in.
So here, this comes down to the prep thing. Did you test it ahead of time, or did the mics just show up on the day and you didn't have time, or what happened here?
No, I tested it. I did all that. I just on the day of, I plugged it into that red slot.
Oh, yeah.
So, anyways, sometimes I feel like a fraud.
Yeah, well, that happens sometimes.
And then I start questioning. I'm like, you work camera at the stupid Pats games, Emery. You're a fraud. So yeah, some heavy imposter syndrome going there. But do you know what? Hey, I'm laughing about it now.
Yeah,
and I'm making fun of myself for it. So it is what it is.
So can I talk about what I think the difference is? So, the movie camera person. Do you know what I find makes like really adds to their skill set? Theirs is more people person kind of thing, where they're able to interact with actors and crew. So they're kind of talking to the actors, working out all the blocking with them, even though it's already been worked out with the director, but they're kind of working through all of that and all the movements. So I found that being able to be funny and fun and work with the actors is a huge skill set that they have.
Yeah, for sure. So question for you then, feeling like a fraud. Mm-hmm. When we post things to social media, Nick, should we always tag those who are in it?
Oh, good question.
Do you know why I'm asking this question?
Because of Colin?
You didn't tag anything. You're just like, this is what 50 looks like. Boom.
You know what's funny about that is that, and this was me being pretty lazy because I was like, Emery will come in and fix it.
I tried. We couldn't even tag the bald leadership thing or Colin in it, which whatever. I ended up texting it to Colin right away too. So
it was a good episode, actually.
Yeah, for us it doesn't. For us it doesn't matter. But if you're trying to have success on social media, tag the people who are in things that are in things. You know, like, could you imagine doing a job for someone, posting it and not tagging them? Like, this is the basis of the creator ecology or economics.
Yeah. It's the absolute least that we could do, but somehow I did less than the least.
I thought it was pretty funny, swearing. And then to top it off, let's get into this a little bit more. So you didn't tag everybody, but what you did do was
I edited the video.
Well, no, but like when you posted it, what'd you do after you posted it?
This was pretty good. I made an Instagram account for us.
Didn't tag anybody, but added another account. I feel like we've sat on here and we've been like, focus on one social media.
Do one thing, do it really well. Boom. Well, this is why I made an Instagram account, because
I think I could guess.
And Instagram share reels. They kind of work. I'm not sure how, but they somehow synergize with each other.
Yeah, and I followed our account today, but I have not logged in. There's part of me that like just wants to like refuse to log in.
Just have never logged in. I was thinking about this today. I want to get you to do a rant on every, like do one rant a week and then we make that our TikTok. Like, but I'll just casually get it in. Like, hey, Emery, what do you think about people that never use tripods?
just wow, that's really funny considering one of our topics coming up, Nick.
And then I'll just sit back and listen to you rant about camera people that never use a tripod.
I'm gonna cover
20 seconds.
up my notes. I don't know if you can read that on there, but what does that say?
I can't tell. It's too far
It says
away.
tripods.
Oh, nice.
Anyway, so literally one of our things. So maybe I will rant later.
Should we hit tripods now? There's some big tripod news that came out today, or not today, but like within the last week or so.
Well, I'm sure. What's the tripod news?
Sackler's updating their Ace tripod. So the tripod that I got, the Sackler Ace, which came out in 2011, is now getting a version 2.
Why is that a good thing, Nick?
Well, you know what's weird? I actually don't know why it's a good thing, because my Ace is still working just fine. And I see no reason to upgrade it. I won't be one of those upgrading it. But I just saw that.
So this was one of the articles I wanted to go through, the best tripod for landscape photography. Goes through a bunch of tips and tricks, but like, that's what I want from you. What are if someone's buying a tripod, what should they be looking for?
Okay. For me personally, there would be a couple things. You have to backtrack to your use, because weight matters big time with tripods. Not just the payload weight, but I kind of want to get some heft to my tripod, because have you ever noticed when you're panning, there's always that little bit of wave or whatever that you can find in it. And so I get around it often by chucking some sandbags on my tripod to kind of like weigh it down a bit. But I want a little bit of heft in my main tripod, but then I want a light tripod for my second tripod. So I'm kind of contradicting myself here. The other thing I want is
how many tripods do you own now that
I've got 2.
Okay.
So I've got a big heavy one and then a light one. But the payload does matter as well, because I really want my tripod counterbalanced properly. I despise having a tripod where if I tilt it up, it doesn't stay there. I tilt it down, it doesn't stay there. That's what I want. Now, it doesn't have to be a big fancy name. You can still get a good tripod for a couple $100, but it's got to be smooth, and it's needs to have enough counterbalance to handle the weight.
So you're talking about video tripods?
Yes. And I know little to nothing about stills tripods, other than they don't have any spreaders attached to them, it appears, like most stills tripods, which kind of confuses me. I'm not sure what you maniacs are doing without spreaders. I don't know what do you guys have against spreaders, Emery?
I'll show you that after. But just talking about video tripods, here's my big donkey of a tripod.
Yeah.
Big Manfrotto thing, 3 bars. This thing stands up pretty high. I think it's actually the tallest out of all the tripods I own. It's got these, man, this thing's a pig to haul, but got these little clips here that are nice. Yeah, everything about it's pretty heavy duty, pretty nice.
That's what you want, though. You want something that when you pan, your camera's not going to whip around. Plus, even if you need to add some more weight, you can chuck a few sandbags on those spreaders. It'll be fine.
Yeah. This is my additional head. This is sort of what I call my travel tripod head. So I would just attach this onto one of my photo tripods for a video head while I'm traveling. Again, just to reduce some weight. My stills tripods can handle it. And this is like it's almost the exact, might even be the exact same head. No, a little bit different. The big thing for me in these, like you mentioned, smoothness in here.
Yeah.
And
it can't just be a friction resistance. It's got to have some oil or whatever.
Yeah.
Some gears type stuff in there.
Yeah. On the screen, I've got this Free Blaze by Small Rig on here. We bought this for work.
Mm-hmm. Looks like a nice tripod to me.
Yeah. It's okay. So you get your money's worth out of things typically. So it's almost identical in size to the one I just lifted up, that big donkey.
Mm-hmm.
The camera head itself is smaller than this one or the one that's on this big one. The legs are nice. They're real nice. They're carbon fiber. They're like, I wouldn't trade those for the world. The spreader on them is good enough. Doesn't matter. The clips are a little cheaper than this one. Like you can feel it, but it's also, if you're looking at it, I'm going to zoom in, but it's a one clip system. So that one opens up them all and you pull it up in one big shot, which is actually kind of nice. I would just like a little more quality in those clips. You're grimacing.
A one clip system? I don't know. How do you level it then?
Well, it still has a ball head. So, and you just pull up,
You're
and honestly, you can figure it out. It's actually slick when you do start to use it.
All of your leveling revolves around the ball head. What if you're on a hill?
Well, not just leave your legs straight, pull it up. They'll all come in one shot.
Oh,
Done.
I
It's pretty
see
much
what
level.
you're talking about. Okay, I thought it was some new kind of clip system where all the legs had to work independently to each other.
No, you just pull the one clip out and all the legs will release.
I'm not loving that.
So you see just one clip out and all of them release.
Oh, but then they will go independently. So if you're on a hill, it'll adjust. Okay, I don't hate that anymore. Yeah.
It's got a fast clip system on the head, which is actually also kind of nice. I haven't used that before, which I might talk more about later. I'm thinking about buying a fast clip system. See.
What's wrong with the existing like dovetail type setup where you just
it's fine on the video camera, yeah.
Okay.
I think it could be quicker, and that's
is
what I
this
like
something
about it.
that'll click to your shoulder harness or something like that, so you can toss your camera onto your shoulder?
Something that you could click to anything.
Yeah. Okay.
So you can throw the attachment onto anything and push a button, pull it off, and put it on the next one. A gimbal from your tripod, for an example.
What are stills photographers doing with gimbals?
Well, I mean, for video people, right?
Okay.
Anyways, what I am not impressed about on this tripod, legs are amazing. Wouldn't give those back for the world. The head itself, I'm actually kind of, if I can get more money, I'll probably look for a head like this to throw onto that one. There's just, like you said, in that where it is actually twisting, just a little too much give. It's not quite solid enough there for me. But yeah, other than that, I mean, you get what you pay for. So this $400 American, I believe my big one was like $700 American, and this is quite a few years ago. I think it's like $1,000 now.
Yeah, I did find, I'll see if I can look it up, but I remember at BH Photo when I upgraded my sticks, I bought a cheaper one, a non-brand name one, and I have to be honest, it works great. It's a really nice tripod and works really well.
Yeah. This is the smallest tripod I own. Whoops. It is a Mi Photo. Don't know if you've ever heard of that.
No.
But it's a super compact. This maybe is up to like my neck sort of height. So it's not like super high. Its main problem is just when you do get into wind and wobbly, it does wobble a fair amount. But I will say this, if you do get it, I wish I could actually show you like how the leg wobbles. But it's also one of the nicest tripods I own. Like I just like this, how this works. It just feels so smooth.
So is it the lightness that makes, because you don't need anything super sturdy with stills tripod, do you?
Yes and no. I'll get into that in a bit here.
Okay, so I looked up my tripod that was apparently cheap. $699 US.
What kind of tripod is it?
It's a Benro.
Okay. So actually, ironically, I believe Benro has bought Me Photo. So they now own this company. Anyways, everything on it is nice. It's smooth. It feels good. It is still aluminum, but it's like absurdly light because it is so small. I'm gonna show you. You talked about the why there's no spreaders. Mm-hmm. So there's this little clip thing here. So that's my spreader. That I can take that in and out. Then there's gears in here, and when I push it in, it's going to lock into that gear, and now it can't come out. And then you've got different angles that you can do that at. Whoops, missed it. There's your next angle.
Now, why don't they do that with video stuff?
I would say probably weight, but I'm guessing just because the video stuff is so much larger.
Yeah, because I've never seen that setup.
Then here's the real kicker. That's how big this thing is.
Ooh. So that's got, what's that, a foot?
Yeah, if that. Yeah. I don't remember specifically what it is. But again, this is what, if I was going into the forest, this is probably what I would go with.
Yeah, that would be nice to not need as much sturdiness with your tripod.
Also a bit of a lie. This is my go-to tripod that I will use out in the field every single day. It is a Siri tripod. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
So basically, it's a bigger version of the Me Photo, different brand. Because it's bigger, it goes a little bit higher too. I think like the actual difference is like 4 or 5 inches higher, but this is actually to my eye height. Would I like a taller one and a bigger one? The answer is yes, I would.
Do you know the number on that? Which Siri it is?
It's the T2005X.
2005. Okay.
Are you going to try and bring it up?
Well, there's 2004, 2204 I'm seeing.
Either way, like, I mean, it's also an old tripod as well. But what I will say, so even this top part here, like it doesn't feel as good as the Me Photo. But again, I'm grasping straws there to tell you what's terrible about it. It's way more sturdier. And every tripod, when you have it down, is going to be way more sturdier. The Me Photo one, I can't actually do that. This top bar, this top piece is solid. It doesn't move down.
You know what's interesting? I just brought up this Siri 2005 tripod, and its load capacity is 26.5 pounds, which is a whole lot more than I would have guessed.
Yeah, it is a solid tripod. It will meet basically all my needs ever. The one I have holding the camera right now is Pro Master one, sorry. So that's something you can buy at Don's Photo. It's very similar to this. Ooh, this also has an Oben head on it. So it's not even a stock head. It was just a cheaper head. But I mean, it's good enough for me. Yeah, so I have almost an identical tripod. I have 2 tripods that are almost the same thing, which seems a little crazy, but it's also kind of nice.
Look forward to seeing that on Facebook Marketplace soon.
The big thing, like what makes this one sturdier, is just the fact that it's got bigger bars. And where that comes into being really important is for myself is when I do long shutters. So when I'm holding something open for 30 seconds, a minute, whatever it is, that becomes pretty important. Like the Me Photo one, on a still night with no wind, she'll work. But if there's wind, it won't. This one will.
Did I ever tell you about the Lazy Man tripod that I bought?
No.
So I've still got it. I've literally never used it. But what you do is you roll down your window halfways, and it clamps onto your window. Okay. So you can do photography right from your car without ever leaving. So if you're going to do some night photography, you just set up, chilling in your front seat of your car, put it on your window, boom.
Yeah, no, I got no judgment against that.
But I've somehow never
actually,
used the Lazy Man tripod.
I actually feel like the fact that I have 4 tripods out here in front of me right now is more embarrassing than that Lazy Man tripod. Anyways, this Siri one, I like it. It's good for me. I have 2 wish list things. Do you know what they'd be?
Are we talking
I said
accessories?
No, like if I bought a new tripod.
Okay, so if you bought a new tripod, I'm assuming there's some kind of fancy monopod setup that you would be interested in.
A lot of these things have monopods built in as well. I don't know which leg it is, but one of them will unscrew and then it's a monopod.
That'd be nice.
Same with the Siri one, same with the ProMaster one. It's funny you mentioned monopods because this is my monopod. Which also comes with a tripod in. So it's also a Siri one as well. But when you do that up, this thing can stand. Oh, yeah. You can't see it there. This thing can stand perfectly upright and be used as a tripod. But again, more wobbly.
Can I just point out that Emery's filming this from his kitchen and he happened to have a tripod sitting in his kitchen?
Well, no, I was planning on talking about them, so I brought them all out. Siri as a brand too, I took a gamble on them and I've kind of liked them. Anyways, my two wishes, Nick. One is for a larger one. There was a guy on Facebook selling a Benro, what's it called? A something 3. I'm gonna Google it here, just to try and bring it up.
You're talking tripod, right?
Yeah, but it was just, it was unreal. Like the thickness of the legs was like the size of your microphone.
So did you say Benro?
Yep.
My Benro is the Benro BV10, which, although oddly enough, mine only has a 22-pound load capacity, which is less than your tripod. But when you look at mine, it looks beefy, similar to your Manfrotto.
Oh, I know what it was. It was a Mach 3.
Benro
but
Mach
yeah, anyways,
3?
Yeah, just bigger legs, more in it. The actual like total height of the thing, I think, went to 8 feet. And man, I've never wanted a tripod more.
A Benro Mach 3.
There we go.
Not coming up here.
I'm finding it here. So this is their Mach 3 setup. So even this, like when you're looking at this guy here, like how big that is compared to his hands, and everything else seemed nice on it too, right? Like the twist locks and everything like that.
So how much was it on the used market?
The guy, I think he wanted 400 initially, and then I don't know how low it dropped until he sold it.
It's looking like it's 610 for the carbon fiber Mach 3.
That's the second item I wish I could get, is the carbon fiber. After using that small rig one too, like it's such a stupid thing, but it's nicer. Like if my Siri tripod was carbon fiber, it would weigh like 2 pounds less, and it would just be nice to hold in the hand. It would still be just as sturdy. And in the times that it might not be because it lacks a little weight, you just weigh it down.
So yeah, if I was ranking gear importance, I would rank lenses first, tripod second, and then cameras actually third.
Yeah. The last thing I'm going to say about tripods here too, when you look at articles like this, which is the best one for you, this is another common thread, and I think it speaks to some other stuff that we speak to all the time as well. But basically, you end up coming across things like this: best tripod for under $200. And then as you move up, best tripod for 200 to 500. So they put things in price ranges. These tripods, we bought a 3-legged thing for work as well, which is like my Me Photo one. It is a nicer tripod than my Me Photo one. Makes me a little jealous. But these tripods, it's not like they're bad. They're still good.
Yeah.
So you don't need to spend big money. Those things that I want, a bigger tripod, carbon fiber, that's like me being a princess. And just
in the video world, I find it less easy to get away from spending the money on a tripod.
I would spend the money on the head.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. When I first started out, I didn't to make my own. I had made my own sandbags out of bricks. Just put a bunch of bricks in a bag and use that to weigh down the camera.
So I'm going to segue into this because I kind of talked about it as well. But buying used equipment, Nick, what would your tips be for buying used equipment?
Oh, I love used equipment, and I would buy almost all of my equipment used.
Right, but if you were recommending to people like what to look for, what would you tell them to look for?
Let's see. So I'm the wrong person to do that with, because this is what I've done before.
You just buy on a whim. You're like, hey, that's cool.
If I found something that I really wanted, like let's say it was a lens. Well, the lens is too much money. If it's a lower amount of money, I've sent people the money ahead of time just to hold it.
Oh,
which is not the right thing to do.
Yeah, I would not do that.
But yeah. So you know what's weird? I actually haven't bought a lot of camera gear lately. So my tips that I would have did before don't apply as much, because eBay's changed so much, because I used to buy a lot of used gear off of eBay, and there it was all review based. Now I would say, oddly enough, is to watch out for counterfeits.
Yeah. With the solar, what do you call it? Eclipse today. That was like one of the big things, that there was counterfeit solar eclipse glasses out there. So you could buy glasses and ruin your eyeballs.
Are you serious?
Yep.
Wow.
I personally kind of like things like Facebook Marketplace for it, mostly because they are local people. I can go and physically touch the item.
I do like Facebook Marketplace, and I do like that you can now go and see the equipment ahead of time. But the fakes are getting a lot better. Mm-hmm. And the thing I've noticed, because I do buy stuff off Facebook Marketplace, if a profile's been created in 2003, 2004,
you're good.
A no buy.
You no buy.
That's almost a no-go for me, especially if it's an item that looks like it could be easily counterfeited.
In 2003 and 2004.
Did I say 2003? I meant to say 2023 or 2024.
Yeah.
Like, if it's within the last year, newly created. Yeah, 2003. Yeah, then I'd do that.
Be skeptical. This point here on this article, do your research. For the most part, I know what I'm getting myself into, but I also go and physically look. And that's sort of like,
I like the idea of going and physically looking, for sure. That's a good one.
Yeah. Checking reviews online. You mentioned that.
Yeah.
Using social media. I feel like that one's a little bit sketch, but I guess whatever floats your boat. Buying from a shop. So like Don's Photo in town here has a used shop. There's plenty of shops in Saskatoon as well. Paramount would be the one I would recommend in Saskatoon. In Moose Jaw, where would you go, Nick?
So Moose Jaw has there's no place that'll sell used camera gear that I know of, but there is oh my goodness, it's just escaping me, on Main Street, and they do sell a lot of camera gear, and they're actually pretty good place.
Yeah, Wells,
that's it. Yeah.
They
got a really good reputation there.
I made my first journey there this weekend.
Oh, you went to Wells? Not bad, is it?
It's a small joint. They cram a fair amount in there for it. The only thing and I don't blame them either, but the only thing I don't like is like all the camera stuff's like behind the counter. So like you gotta ask to touch it. And the small like accessory items, like I just want to like look at it.
Yeah.
But I get why they do it. People are jerks and they steal things.
But he's got a great reputation, and people really like Wells in town.
Yeah. Check for internal faults. I think this is a big one, actually.
It is. Once you get to that level, yeah, I guess I would hope that the person wouldn't be ripping you off once you've kind of confirmed that they're a decent person, but I guess you never know.
Like I've bought lenses and I've thrown them onto cameras, tested them, make sure they're autofocusing, make sure they're doing what they should do when you change things, change the iris on them, things like that. Again, hands-on stuff, which always makes me scared of like online things, even though too, I feel like a trusted place. Going back to the other one about a store like KEH in the States, like I'm sure they're to be trusted. And, if something goes wrong there, you can probably send it back as well. But check for internal damages, kind of the same thing. With a lens, looking for the lens to see if it has a scratch. A camera, look at the sensor to see if it's got scratches, stuff like that. Actually, like look at things and push them and pull them and, operate it like you should. Check the shutter count. This one's always an interesting one for me.
That's a good one. And you can, have you ever checked the shutter count? Because there's software that you can get the actual shutter count, not just what it says on the camera.
Yeah, I have the software. I have used it to sell stuff.
Yeah, I ran into an interesting one with check the shutter count because I sold the Canon 5D, but when I put Magic Lantern on it, it was essentially counting a ton of extra images that I wasn't actually shuttering on them. So I remember when I did the shutter count, it was like astronomical. And the person asked for it, and I was like, no, I used Magic Lantern, but I don't know if they believe me or not, but it wasn't actually firing the shutter every time.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things. I like the more local approach. I like to physically touch things or trust in a large company. I think would be the better way to go when you're doing this stuff. Definitely don't do what Nick does and send people money. That is the wrong way to do things.
I do that with board games, to be honest.
You know what? That's kind of half fair.
Yeah,
because it's not like you're sending them $100 or something, are you?
No,
it's like 20.
Yeah, send them $20 or $30. They'll hold the game. Pick it up next time I'm in town.
Yeah, but if you were buying like a $300 tripod, would you?
No.
Right. Yeah, use the equipment. Do it. Just be careful out there. And honestly, I feel like these things are common sense as well.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But used is the way to go. It really is, because you can save so much money. You can save anywhere from 25% to 50%. So why not?
Talking about saving money here, Nick. Have you ever wanted to shoot panoramics in film?
In film?
Yeah.
No.
That's kind of fair. Anyways, this little camera is the way to do it and to save money. It's an interesting, I don't know, I guess camera. I overuse the word camera. You got to get on a mailing list to do it. But what it ultimately does is it uses an app to show you what the camera might see. So you can select your settings, lens, yada, yada, yada. And
so we're basically looking at a camera that's using your phone as the viewfinder. Is that what's happening here?
Yep, correct. Meanwhile, you're dumping 35 millimeter into it, and it's shooting a panoramic image, I think, on maybe three frames of film, maybe four. Not too sure.
Now, Why? Why panorama? I'm not quite getting the allure of this.
Panoramics are just cool.
It just looks like a regular.
Yeah. So I think it's 1, 2, 3, 4 frames of Portra, Kodak Portra 400 made that image.
Oh
but it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
one. So instead
So
of
it's not a
stitching it
16
together,
by 9. It's an
nope.
actual wide.
Yep.
Okay. If you're gonna throw this on your wall or something, I can see the point of this.
Yeah, it seems kind of fun. Like, I mean, your other cameras that do this are like expensive film cameras. Like, I should have brought one up to actually say it, but I want to say it's like $10,000-$20,000 by the time you're hitting those things. And I believe this one, which you got to go onto a wait list for, but I think it's only like $2 or $3 grand.
Only $2 or $3 grand?
Well, I mean, you got to buy the camera and the lens.
I just don't see any scenario where I've got $2 or $3 grand, and what ranks highest on my priority list is a film panoramics camera.
It's for fun, Nick. It's all about the fun. So
There's
here
no
you
level
go. 800, 900 euros. So whatever that translates into
so maybe double
dollars
by the time it gets here.
And a $500 lens. So you're spending 1,200 euro. So $2 or $3 grand.
So I don't see. Would you ever spend $2 or $3 grand on this?
Maybe in my old age.
Like you're about to die and you don't want to hand the money down to your kid? Is that the
Yeah. Again, just something to do for fun.
Just think, I don't know. I just can't. My iPhone does a panoramic and it's good enough.
That's a good point, but it's just not on film and not, doing camera things, which I am not knocking the iPhone. I actually think it's better than this.
So I guess my one question is it 3 shutters or is it one shutter and it does all 3 at the same time?
Yeah. So no stitching involved, just shooting film. Anyways.
$3 grand though. No.
Do you know? I'm gonna actually bring this one up next, then, just to get more crazy on you. You ready?
Yeah.
This is a blog
that
sorted out all the movies Steven Soderbergh watched in 2023.
Oh. Oh my goodness. This list is going on forever.
If you look closely, I know I'm scrubbing through this pretty quickly, but like it's going December 17th, December 18th, December 19th, December 20th, December 21st.
Oh, so he watches a movie a day.
Yep. There's some that are multiple in one day as well. So yeah, it's a disgusting amount of things watched. Is this overkill?
No.
I mean, obviously, Steven Soderbergh, he's better than us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like if we did this with our life, that we wouldn't have imposter syndrome.
Maybe. Should we be watching more things?
I do watch quite a bit of YouTube stuff. And not just videos, but also tutorials and stuff like that.
Do we maybe watch just as much, but just different things?
Probably, actually. At least for me. I don't know about you, but I watch a lot of stuff and a lot of like how do they get this lighting look, cinematic look versus kind of generic corporate look, that kind of stuff. I don't know. Do you watch that kind of stuff?
I feel like I consume more content than the average person. Like I'm in the top, what is it when you're at the top 75 percentile?
Yeah, but you'd probably be in the top 10% then for content consumption. But yeah, movie a day, man. If you're making movies, just incorporate that into your life. I like that.
I feel like it's like if I was a hockey player, I'd be practicing every day, and that's what
Yeah.
that is for Steven Soderbergh.
Yeah, you'd be watching some film every day.
Kind of a weird way to think about it, but I think like people could actually relate to that. It's just like practicing for any sport every single day. And if you're a pro athlete, it's what you do. It's what you get paid to do.
Yeah.
Living the dream. This next one, Nick, this one's way out there. It's going to be a fun one, I think. You ready?
I'm ready.
This is the 100 best dog movies as ranked by the Tomato Meter.
Oh, man.
So I spoiled it, but which one would you have thought was number one?
You know what's funny? The first dog movie that came to my mind was Turner and Hooch.
Nice. Classic.
And then there's some animated dog movies. There's Homeward Bound.
Yeah, classic. The number one was 101 Dalmatians animated.
I haven't seen that one.
But I mean, it's according to the Tomato Meter. So however you take, how have you not seen 101 Dalmatians?
Well, maybe I have. Maybe it's a remake. I don't know.
Best in Show. That's a really good one. Lassie. That is classic.
Mm-hmm.
Lady and the Tramp again.
Yeah, Lady and the Tramp.
To Go. Never seen that.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, Bolt.
Is this what you spend your days thinking about? Is what movie has
great,
dogs in it that is fantastic?
I've never even heard what the Wiener Dog at 17. I've never even heard of that.
There's a lot on here.
What year was that?
I haven't heard of The Secret Life of Pets. I think that's underrated. That's a good movie.
That was a good show.
Mm-hmm.
Where's Turner and Hooch?
Let's see. I'm not too sure where it shows up. Lassie again. Scooby-Doo. Yes.
Yeah.
Benji.
Oh, Benji.
Of course.
That was a great show.
Personal favorite of mine, White Fang.
White Fang.
Big fan of that show. I actually have even read the book of that, if you can imagine that, Nick.
No, I liked that show when it came out. That was great.
It's a White Fang's a Farley Mowat thing, right? So yeah, big fan of Farley Mowat. Ooh, do you know what's interesting? So I Am Legend makes it. Kind of understand
not
why.
A dog movie.
Well, the dog's with him all the time. The dog saves him.
Yeah, okay. I guess it's a dog movie.
Now, with that said, is oh man, I already forgot it. Oh, it's got Keanu Reeves in it. Action movie.
I don't know, but there's a serious travesty on Rotten Tomatoes right now. I looked it up. Turner and Hooch, 50% on the Tomato Meter. Can you believe that?
I think I must be getting to it here soon.
And the audience score,
there you go,
51. How did this make it to the 71st best dog movie if it's only got a 50% on the Tomato Meter?
Yeah. John Wick, that was the one I was thinking of. Is that a dog movie?
No.
It all happens because of his dog, man.
Because of the dog. No, but the dogs, to be a dog movie, the dog has to be at least number 2 on the call sheet. It's got to be a main character that is an integral part of the plot. Now, John Wick
is Bambi's mom. Does she fall into that category?
Bambi's mom.
Yeah. At the start of Bambi, she gets shot.
No, she's not in the movie enough. No,
okay.
Bambi, the movie, yeah. No, it's Bambi. Yeah,
is Die Hard a Christmas movie?
I'll call it a Christmas movie just because so many people do. I'm okay with that.
It's good stuff.
But But no, a dog movie can't just be because a dog was mentioned in the first scene. That's not a dog movie.
All right. Another quick one here. This link, I should actually, whoops, got the audio going. I should actually add this link to it. So that photo he's holding is, I believe it's the first picture of like the full Earth, or well, somewhat of a full Earth. NASA photo, obviously. He did this like little documentary on how this thing came about, and it is definitely worth the watch if you're at all curious about it. It goes through like all the different steps. Obviously, they're talking about fog windows. So how did this happen that they didn't get fog? Yada yada yada. What are the other photos like? All these things. Yeah, it's a good little 14-minute YouTube clip on how they did it, and I definitely think it's worth the watch.
Interesting.
So
yeah,
if I send you this link, I don't think I sent this to you, but do you think this would be something you'd watch?
Yes. Yeah, this looks great.
When we post this, we should also post this link. So hopefully, I'm thinking I'm posting this, so hopefully I remember.
Okay.
One other video clip. I've talked about this guy before, the camera Conspiracies. Should have muted everything before. Why most camera channels hate him. So he's a Canadian guy. He makes a lot of jokes and he pokes a lot of fun at all these other guys. And a lot of the times they don't like him for it.
Really?
Yeah. So what's the problem there? Is it that he shouldn't be making these jokes at people's expenses, or do people need to relax about what they do?
So now I actually don't know this guy, but I do have an opinion on it already.
I'm going to skip ahead to a part here. So I don't know if you've ever heard of this, Tone. It's actually a thing that he got put in there, and it basically makes fun of, oh man, why am I blanking on his name? See if I can't find it in here, but just how he loves bokeh so much. So he started calling it Tone, because his name is Tony. And so he's kind of making fun of him for it, this guy. So, and he was like, look at how shallow depth of field is that? Is that really necessary? He's like, it looks so stupid. And so he makes fun of it like that. And yeah, anyways, your opinion of him, even though you don't watch him.
Yeah. So I don't know him nor watch him, but does he make fun of himself as well?
100% he does.
Then I have no problem with it, because if that's just who he is, and he's kind of like that, make joke at his own expense, somebody else's expense, just that kind of person. My guess is that if you were in the same room with him, that you would not feel any animosity towards him, because they'd be funny and fun.
Yeah. Like, and he makes fun of like camera gear stuff too, right? Like, so this part, he's playing around with the DJI thing, seeing if it can actually track them. And he's like, ooh, that's creepy, right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
I would love for him to actually discover us and roast us. That would be fantastic in my books. So
I'm guessing that people that despise him just take the clip of them and then take it completely out of context and dislike him. He seems like a fun guy just from a few shots that I've seen.
Yeah. Here's the other thing too. Like, I know there are lots of YouTubers and stuff out there too who do watch him and do respect him for things. His mother passed away this year, and he did a bunch of posts with that. And like, there was some pretty big YouTube names, you know, who actually said his name in the comments, which I didn't even know his real name until that. And of course, with me now, I'm totally blanking on what his real name is, but they said his name in it, and I was like, oh wow, that's his name, I guess, right? So anyways, there's lots of people out there who like him as well.
Interesting.
Anyways, also, I do think he's worth watching, Nick. If you get a chance, give him a watch.
I will check it out. Let me just make a note of it.
All right, last one. You ready? This one's gonna blow your mind, Nick.
Okay.
It's a Reddit forum I found, photo related Reddit forum. Have you ever been excited for a Reddit forum before?
Nothing pops to mind.
You should get excited for this one.
Probably I'm prepared to be underwhelmed is what I am.
All right. This is Door Dash Gremlin. So it is pictures of how people leave packages at doors. It is amazing. I think it is highly worth your time to go and check out. It makes me laugh. This is like when Reddit is so goofy and silly that it's absolutely great. And I love like all the dogs, right? So to put some perspective in this too, this is a DoorDash person dropping off the bag and saying, your stuff is here. And this dog is going bonkers on this guy, right? And that's his picture. There's some like where people actually, they take the picture even though it's like in the people's hands, stuff like that. Yeah.
Some of those ones up top somehow looked like they were taken on film. Did you notice that?
I mean, everybody's got varying degrees of cameras and phones and whatever, right?
Yeah,
like
this
in the
is
middle of the night.
There's some
an
photos
apartment
here.
building that's pure gold. I love it.
Like that one looks like it's got the flash on.
That one or this one?
No, the one up above.
Oh, this
or
one?
Down one with the or down two. Yeah, that one there. It looks like they took it with the flash.
Yeah, maybe. Squirrel.
That's
too funny. Well, either way, I think it's fun. I think it's
hilarious.
Funny. Like this guy answering it. That's good stuff. Anyways, I don't spend a lot of time on Reddit. I can't even remember how I found this thing, but I thought it was funny and fun and worth showing you about and worth mentioning.
Yeah, I love that.
So if you want to kill some time, DoorDash Gremlin on Reddit, have a look at it. It's a good time.
Yeah, you could almost rate all the photos on there. That'd be a fun one.
Yeah. Ooh, I lied. I've got one more thing I want to talk about.
Okay.
Actually, wow. I'm going to cut it to one more thing. This is compliments of my brother.
Okay.
Who sent me a text tonight before the show. It is a picture of the Blue Jays game going on that will probably never work, but with the caption, "Are you watching this?"
No.
Yeah. So it's not that I'm against watching the Blue Jays game.
Yeah, no, I've watched lots of Blue Jays games before.
It's where this conversation led. So this is it. He goes, "You watching this?" "No, why?" "Scarf Lady got effed over with the new Renos." So do you understand that at all?
Well, they redid the stadium, right?
Right. Do you know Scarf Lady?
No.
So obviously you don't watch too many Blue Jay games.
No, I haven't for a lot of years. I used to watch them all the time, but
she's been a beacon of controversy because she comes to every single game at home. Well, most of them. And she's got tickets right behind home plate. And everybody asks who she is, how she got there. No one knows anything about her. And everybody wants to know. And for years, my brother sent me texts like, "This lady's stupid. I hate her. She doesn't deserve those tickets. She's coming with her iPad and watching these games and just watching her iPad. She's not even paying attention. But the best seats in the house, just mad." So yeah, he's like, "Scarf Lady got effed in the new Renos." So in the actual picture, instead of right behind home plate, she's off into the one corner a little bit now.
Oh.
So I'm like, laugh out loud. He's like, "You see her?" "Yep." And he's like, "They almost got her out of the shot. She was right behind the floor before." And I'm like, "Are you going to start a movement to support her? Get her seat back?" "I should. I need something to complain about again." He's like, the "I miss Scarf Lady" petition. So for years he complained about her, but now he might be on her side.
Now he's missing her.
Yeah. Anyways, next Blue Jay game you watch for a lady in a scarf. See if you can find her. And yeah, I've kind of ruined it. She's up in the top corner instead of dead center now. Anyways, there was one other thing I want to talk about, but we are stretching this long.
We are.
So I kind of want to get out. Do you know what? I'm going to preface it. We'll talk about it sometimes, but it's about awards.
Ooh.
This week, I'm going to the Paragon Awards. We were nominated for an award, our marketing and communications with the SCSA. So I'm going. So we'll talk about that a bit, and then we'll talk more about awards in general and their value and what they can do for you or not do for you or whatever we want to think about it. But awards. Cool. Let's wrap it up. Nick, any last words?
I want to make our own awards. I've been saying that for years. Where
thought,
we give out our own awards.
Yeah, I thought we kind of half started that.
Well, we were going to give out like best commercial, but then the problem is what we ran into is I don't know which ones were made in Saskatchewan, really. So, and I don't know where to watch said commercials to actually narrow down our list. I think people would have to submit to us, but how do we get that? There's a lot of questions, more questions than answers with starting our own awards show.
Oh, do you know what this sounds like to me?
What's that?
Sounds like we should do another meetup and discuss awards with people and see how we could get this working. I feel like a guy like Jeremy Ratzlaff would have a lot of good ideas on this.
Yes. Yeah. I think he'd come to a meetup too.
We should. Cool. Let's wrap it up. Wherever you're at, have a good day. Good night, everybody. You enjoy it. Live that life to the fullest. And I'm going to hit this music button.